Welcome. Welcome to today's session, Apps to Help Your Sales Soar. In the immortal words of Bette Midler, apps are the wind beneath our wings. So we are going to take flight today and just go crazy. The first craziest part that we're going to do is go over the safe harbor statement. You've seen it a lot of times. You've been here at Dreamforce. I can tell you that you have seen it before because it is everywhere. That being said, based on our presentation today, you probably shouldn't buy our stock. It's not really a great idea. So we're going to be covering a bunch of stuff in our presentation today, really around stories from the customers that are here. We've got two fantastic customers. We've got Diane Grazer from IGT, and we've got Mary Beth Gargani from Ascent to tell you how they've used the AppExchange to really change their organizations in Salesforce and really empower them. My name is Graham Clark. I am a senior success architect here at Salesforce.com. And if you're all familiar with the AppExchange, you know that there are thousands and thousands and thousands of apps out there. There are apps for sales, and there are apps for service and marketing. And what you see is the AppExchange extending the Salesforce platform to be able to do more specialized activities inside Salesforce. So 2,500 apps, 2.6 million installs. People use these. They use them every day, and they use them to solve their business problems. As I was mentioning, we have apps for everything. Sales and IT and HR. There's also apps in all sorts of different price points. There are things from Salesforce Labs that come out all the time. They're free. There are apps from many of our AppExchange partners that are paid for. There are ones that you pay per user. There are ones, for org. So when you're looking at the AppExchange, consider those as you're perusing them for which app is going to suit you best. We have a cool contest to check out the matchapps.cool. You can go there, and it's a little game that you can play to find out, match your apps with your business and see if there's something that might make sense for your organization. And really, the main content of today is around sales apps. Sales process, SFA, CRM is Salesforce's bread and butter. It's where we started. It's something that we do exceptionally well. There are many of the apps on the AppExchange that extend that functionality of Salesforce.com into very specific business cases. Things that we'll see today are things like quoting, things like gamification, things like, there's so many, I can't even think of them all. So really, there are so many parts of the AppExchange that we use and that so many of our customers use to extend Salesforce for their specific use cases. And we're going to talk about some use cases today, and we're going to talk about them in the context of Salesforce customers, right? We have two customers that are presenting today. And first, we have Diane Grazer from IGT, who is going to be telling you a story about how they've used the AppExchange to further their implementation of Salesforce. So thanks, Diane, for having us today.
Great. Thank you, Graham. So as Graham mentioned, I am from International Game Technology, and we are... Do you have a clicker? Thank you. We are a gaming company. We are the leader in gaming technology and slot manufacturing, which means that we sell a lot of slot machines to a lot of casinos around the world. We also supply them with gaming systems that help them manage their floors. And we're also involved in online wagering and social gaming. If you don't recognize the name of our companies, you might recognize some of our titles. If you've ever played in a casino, Wheel of Fortune and Megabucks are two of our most popular brands. And if you're more of a gamer on Facebook, you might have visited our Double Down Casino, which was the #2 grossing app in their app center last year. Because we are a gaming company, we are bound by regulations. We are licensed in 350 gaming jurisdictions around the world, which does complicate our opportunity to order process somewhat. So when we first embarked upon our journey to streamline and transform the way that our sales teams perform their jobs, our most important goal was to increase the customer face time and give the sales teams back hours in their day to spend and focus more on customer-facing activities, which we knew would result in higher revenues for the company. There were 3 areas that we wanted to target. The first was efficiency. We wanted to improve and reduce the endless searching for information that they did within the company in order to perform their jobs. And I don't know about your company, but we had interdepartmental SharePoint sites and lots of email and every phone calls in order for them to obtain information. So efficiency was top of the list for improving our customer face time. Being able to eliminate the manual processes that they were forced to complete, manual forms, manual worksheets, and then ultimately we wanted to provide them with all of the tools they needed and all of the information they needed to perform their jobs more efficiently from the road in their mobile device. So those were the goals that we started with. And you know, we went to the App Store to begin the process to identify what could help us in order to fill the process gaps that we were seeing in our organization. We implemented several of the apps off the App Store, and we are not going to talk about all of these today, but each and every one of them either helped directly impact the efficiency for our sales teams or impact the efficiency on our administrative teams to develop and enhance the products for our sales teams. So I'm going to take you through kind of a life in the day of our account managers today to show you how their jobs have changed with these implementations. So first, I'm going to say that, you know, salespeople always love a contest. And so we did implement some gamification software, and we selected level 11 in order to do that. So I want you to imagine that I'm a salesperson and that I'm just out of reach of the top of the leaderboard for our current contest. So my goal is I want to find the opportunities that I can close quickly and easily to push myself up to the top of the leaderboard. So the first place I would start to do that is to see if there's any hot leads that have come in from our marketing generation system. And I would go to the Marketo Sales Insights screen in order to find that. We selected Marketo as our lead generation and marketing automation system because it offered us the ability to focus our sales teams on the highest producing potential leads. And it also enabled us to focus our marketing campaigns on those campaigns that would bring us the best opportunities in order to help sales teams fill their pipeline. So what this does is it easily focuses our sales teams. It produces the leads, and this is just generated data. So it gives you 3 flames and 3 stars, which tells you how recent those leads are and what the quality of the actions that the leads took. So quickly and easily, they don't even need to know what the stars and the flames mean, but they know if they've got 3 stars and 3 flames, that's my hottest lead ever, and I'm going after those. And so I can then, from here, say, okay, what am I going to do with these leads? I've contacted the customer, I've created an opportunity. Now I want to see what I can actually provide for my customer. Since we are a regulated company, it was always a challenge for us to provide them with the new product releases because we have to go through a series of approvals for everything that we do. And so generally they would get spreadsheets or they would have to look on the website and search for all jurisdictions to find the information that they were looking for. We went looking for an application that would help us solve this problem, and we found that in Savo. So let me show you what Savo enabled us to do. So right here, this is a screen that they will find within Salesforce that allows them to see what products are available in their jurisdiction that they're responsible for. More importantly, though, it allows us to push that information automatically out to their mobile device. So they will get an alert that tells them only about their jurisdictional information on their mobile device. Here's the game that's available in your area. You've got all the materials you need to sell to the customer. And imagine, I'm sitting in front of a customer and I get an alert on my mobile phone that says, hey, you've got a new product that you can sell to your customer in that jurisdiction. And you've got all the materials at your fingertips to be able to do that. That was a huge, huge benefit to our sales teams. In addition, it provides them with a mobile screen that enables them to create presentation decks. So prior to this, again, they were searching the company and creating their own presentation decks. But Salvo lets them, gives them presentation kits that are automatically already created by the marketing teams with the message that the marketing teams want to communicate to our customers, so that all of our sales teams are communicating the same message now. And they're easily able to modify those decks by simply clicking and dragging and customizing those decks to the meeting and the topic that they're having with their customer. So it's been a huge benefit for them, but the best benefit, especially with a big win in our company, because many of our customers block internet signals, they have the ability to do this offline as well. So they're on their mobile device and they can work offline and do this and present to the customer, which was a huge win for our sales teams. In addition, it allows you to provide sales coaching in the opportunity screens, and we've been able to do that, which then allows especially new salespeople to your organization, to be guided through the process from one stage to the other of how what the steps are that they need to do to close those opportunities. So all in all, really beneficial for providing the information that the sales teams need while they're performing their jobs in the field, all on their mobile device. Okay, so I have found out what I can present to the customer, I've met with the customer, I did my presentation kit, and now I still need to see where I'm going to end up on the leaderboard. But I took a couple of orders, and I'm going to enter them in the system now. So my customer wants to convert some of their slot machine themes to another theme, and now I can easily do this within Salesforce. We utilized a tool called Draw Loop, which to our sales teams means nothing, but to our administrators is key. This was an application that is a document management type application that allows them to put the power of into the administrator's hands and relieves a lot of code that you would normally need to accomplish some of the tasks. So this is an example of a ticket that we created. They used to have to create manual forms and spreadsheets that they would have to fill out, and they never were able to do that from the field, so they generally would wait till they got in the office to complete these administrative tasks, which just elongated our sales process. But with Draw Loop, not only are you able to create documents that are acceptable to other teams, you can do it in PowerPoint, you can do it in Excel, you can do it in Word, many different document types that you can actually create, but it also lets you automate multiple steps. So just even think about attaching a sales form to an opportunity. There's 3 or 4 steps. You have to save it to your computer and do all these steps. But with Draw Loop, it allows you to actually create a button that automates all of those steps for the sales team, so that it's all done in the background and they just have one simple step. It also allows you to create a record. So in this case, we were able to create and automate this process for our sales teams, but at the same time, we were able to automate the creation of a ticket for our global order fulfillment teams. This was yet another manual process for them. They'd have to get it, they'd have to re-enter it in the system, and all of this was done using Draw Loop with no code. So you don't need HTML code to produce nice looking documents, nor do you need the code to even create a record. It was all done through our administrators' hands. All right, so I'm still looking for more orders to push me over the top on my leaderboard. So I'm going to check my email and see if I have any orders that have come in from my customers that need to be signed. All of our sales teams have to sign their orders that come in from their customers, and this was kind of cumbersome for them from the field because they'd have to find a computer and print it out and sign the document, scan it or fax it, and it just was all very time consuming. And again, most of the time they would probably wait until they got back in the office to do this. So we were in search of an electronic signature program, and we found DocuSign. DocuSign is one of the leading apps out there for this type of application, and it really helped us to streamline this sales signature process for our customers. So you can see here that I've received it back from the customer signed. I just need to go into View My Documents. And quickly and easily, I can sign the signature. You adopt a signature, and it's done. So that's as quick and easy as it is. Within Salesforce, it will show on the opportunity what the status is of that envelope that was sent out. And you can see here that it was completed. So it shows all the way through the steps, when the customer received it, when it got signed. It also alerts the customers and reminds them. And really the reason that we went forward with this application was more for the efficiency of our sales teams. But one of the benefits that came out of it is the speed at which we got signatures back from customers. Because as much as it made us efficient, it also increases the efficiency of your customers, because if you're like us and you've ever chased down some signatures at the end of a quarter, you know that there's always some guy who's out of the office or on vacation and can't actually be there to sign. And with DocuSign, they can sign from their mobile device just as easily as our sales teams can. All right, so I got my orders. I've signed the orders that came through, and I want to see where I am now with regards to my leaderboard. So I'm going to go into level 11 and check the dashboard. And you can see here I am. I'm still in third place. I've pushed myself up to that. I've only got, if you can see on the right, it shows that I need 32,000 more sales in order to catch the leader. This is great because it focuses your sales teams. I know I've got orders that are pending that are going to push me over the top, so I'm confident I'm going to end up at the top of the leaderboard. This gamification software, it allows you to do contests, not only to increase revenue like the one I'm showing here, but you can do contests to modify behaviors, to close opportunities quicker, whatever it is that your goal is and that you need to focus on. The level 11 offers you the opportunity to focus your sales teams in a competitive way so that it doesn't feel like you're just nagging them to close opportunities faster. All in all, how has this transformed the way our sales teams operate? Well, I can tell you that our customer face time increased by double digits. It actually, the amount of time we saved for our sales teams equates to nearly 3 or 4 full-time headcount that we would have had to hire to do the same thing. I can tell you that our signatures come back much more quickly. The fastest signature we've ever received was in 1 minute, which is unheard of in our industry. And more importantly, I can tell you that the sales teams themselves recognize how their jobs have been transformed. I know that our sales administrators walk down the hall and we get account managers that come up to us and say things like, you must really love your jobs because you're changing lives. You're changing the way that we do business, and it has made them much more effective and efficient, and they actually appreciate it in a huge way. So I would encourage you to, identify those gaps that you have in your processes and look to the App Store for solutions, because there are many apps out there that can help you and that are really beneficial to helping to streamline your sales teams. So thank you. I appreciate the time.
Excellent. That was excellent. Thank you so much for that story. Next, we have Mary Beth Gargani from Ascent, who is going to be talking to you about their transformation as well. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Mary Beth Gargani. I am from Ascent, which is a pharmacy automation solutions company located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And primarily, our number one mission is to help hospitals deliver quality patient care. And we try to do that by helping to reduce their operating expenses and improve their overall process efficiencies. So in my role as Director of Sales Effectiveness, I get up every day and worry about how effective and productive a sales rep is. And in case I forget that that's what I'm supposed to be doing, it says it on my business card, so I just have to reference that every morning. So what I'd like to do is talk to you a little bit about what our organization looked like before we introduced Salesforce.com and our AppExchange partner, Apttus. We basically existed in a world where Excel was our number one means to communicate financial results across the organization. And by that I mean our product forecasts, our executive level reporting, and even our quotes that our field reps did in their home offices, otherwise known as their bunkers in their basements. We used Excel for everything. And while I think we thought some days we were being overly collaborative and crafty, by having a multi-tabbed spreadsheet in our midst, we really weren't allowing the full collaboration or the visibility that we needed to move deals forward through the process. And from a deal process perspective and contract cycle, we relied on Excel's cousin, Microsoft Outlook, to get things done. So you had a situation where you had a field rep putting together financials in an Excel spreadsheet, sending that via Outlook to all of the folks involved in the deal approval process. And depending on the folks that were reviewing that deal, if they didn't have the collaborative spirit to hit reply all, you may be seeing a deal that didn't have all the parameters that you needed to see. Because if someone made a change in legal to language, when the time came for an accounting person to review that deal, it may not be the exact version that they should be reviewing. So that lengthened our sales cycle, it lengthened the approval cycle, and it generally just didn't allow folks to feel comfortable that what they were looking at any point in time was truly the exact deal that they needed to comment on. And as I said earlier, in our business, we actually manufacture products. So we manufacture robots and hospital cabinetry. And for our manufacturing leadership team, it was really important that they had visibility upstream into what the sales team was doing, because we were putting them at somewhat of a disadvantage from the perspective that they were waiting to see what orders they had to fulfill for each of our individual prospects and customers. And if for some reason they were of the mindset, I'm going to build 10 cabinets, and the order changed on them to 15 or even to 5, there's a human capital as well as physical capital implication to that. So we were very aware that by not having any sort of system that collaboratively allowed everyone to see what was going on, we were kind of putting our business a little bit at a detriment from that perspective. So that all being said, what did we do? Well, we made the decision after, I don't really think a lot of conversation, I think we all knew the state we were in. We determined that we would go through, put together our business case process, and look at CRM tools. Well, I think we made a really great decision in that we purchased Salesforce.com, and we decided that, okay, we're going to begin our implementation. Probably the second best decision that we made was actually putting together a cross-functional team to actually go through and perform the implementation. And why I think that was probably one of our better shining moments is because what we did is we allowed folks from all across the business to be involved in this project. And not only did we give them a little bit of skin in the game, but we made sure that the individuals from accounting, legal, finance, operations, implementation, we made sure that all of them who would be eventual consumers of the information had a stake in the workflow processes that we may be changing, or any of the other items along the continuum that we were changing. They were involved in that. It also made for an easier adoption and an easier training mechanism because these folks knew what we did and why we did it. So when we ran into issues during our training sessions as far as, well, why did you tweak the process this way? They were one of the first groups of folks who could stand up and say, well, we did it. Here was the reason why. We just didn't do something, haphazardly. So from that perspective, I think, that was, hindsight's always 20/20, but we were looking forward with that and really made the right decision. So as we were humming along with our implementation, we had a ton of requirements, and I think for any of you that are salespeople or work with salespeople, you know that they have a lot of needs and a lot of wants, and we had about 66 pages of requirements to fulfill. And I have to say, not just because he's in the room, but our IT department and the folks that actually did the development truly made those requirements come to life. And I think the business knew that as we were working through all of this, we put a big ask on our development team, and I think they really excelled, which you'll see in a little bit. But as we were working through our process and making all these requirements appear in the system, we kept coming up with a question as far as some gaps that we had identified relative to our products and getting detail around the configurations and just how we were maneuvering all that. And folks on our implementation team, Robert Garcia and Dennis Rousden, basically said to us, hey, you're looking at this, and we're building a lot of code, and we're building a lot of great things on the Salesforce platform, but you may want to consider going to the AppExchange, because rather than building everything, we may be able to buy some things. Well, I mean, candidly speaking, being a shopper, anytime I'm hearing the word you can buy something, I'm always going to be interested in what somebody has to say. So as we went to the AppExchange, we knew we had some certain issues we were trying to solve for relative to our products. And the key issues that we were trying to solve for were, we build very customized products. We have specific configurations relative to our robots and as well as our cabinets. So it's very important for us to know as we're building something and quoting it, if in a cabinet we want 5 drawers and the drawers have to be this big or this wide, we needed to know what we were actually requiring our manufacturing team to pull together, because there's different price points for all of those and different materials that were involved. So we needed to have that configuration detail. We also needed to have, for our field rep back in the home offices, their home offices, we needed to have the ability for them to have different versions of quotes and be able to see different, I'll use the word mutations of their deals, because a field rep could walk into a meeting with a C-suite executive, a CFO or CEO, and they may think that this entity is going to purchase a robot. Well, they could find during the course of those conversations, based on the capital expenditure pressures at the facility, or even just some other projects that are unknown to our field rep at the time, the CEO may decide, well, I don't want to purchase this, I may want to lease this now. Or instead of securing 5 years of maintenance, I want 7 years of maintenance. All of those different decision points are items that our field rep can anticipate using our tools to be able to see what versions of a quote might look like. So rather than having a conversation that comes to a screeching halt because the field rep doesn't have any sales numbers behind what they may now be offering, our field reps now have that information in their bag, so to speak, and they can actually continue conversations, because the most important thing and the most valuable for all of us, in addition to a field rep or a CEO, is their time. So we don't want to necessarily stop a conversation because someone needs to go back and cycle through the Excel, Outlook gauntlet to get approval on deals. So that was another function that we needed to have in our app that we were looking at. And finally, as I said before, we have a manufacturing team. So it was really vital that we could give to those individuals product forecasts, unit forecasts, and that they would have the confidence in not only the sales team, but the business at large, to make sure that if we said an opportunity was going to include 15 cabinets and 8 drawers of a particular type, that's exactly what they would see once the deal closed. And if it did have to change based on certain parameters, they were always in the know about all those things. So those are the 3 items that we were really trying to solve for initially. So we went through our due diligence process. We determined that Apttus had those capabilities and the flexibility, in addition, that we could use as we move forward with our implementation. So we made our decision. We had Salesforce. We had Apttus. What happened? Well, we had some good news that happened, and that's to the tune of our CEO actually commenting to our team at the company about our implementation. And why this is important is it's not because we needed to hear we did a good job or we worked really hard. We knew that. But I think it's important when a CEO is able to stand up and say, hey, I appreciate the fact that you guys finished early and under budget, which I think are 2 great testaments to the work that the team actually did to pull something together and have the fundamentals in our tools that made a lot of sense. But this type of conversation and this type of quote doesn't happen without the results behind it. So what exactly did we do? I'm sure you're wondering. So what we were able to do based on our tools was increase our overall sales efficiency. And what I mean by that is our field sales team actually spends more time engaged with their customer. The amount of time that they now are able to be in front of a customer, actually negotiating deals and actually trying to solve customer problems has increased based on the tools that they now have access to versus pulling together a lot of administrative information and really making a lot of phone calls to assemble some information relative to their accounts, their opportunity plans, their strategic account plans. Everything's all in one place. So they're better, they're more efficient. That efficiency leads to them being more effective. So bottom line for a field rep, I need to close more deals. And they're able to do that based on the information they have, the ability to see multiple quotes, and the ability to get that information to their customers faster. And ultimately, that effectiveness allows us to see our deal size actually increasing. Because now, when we look at forecast reports or funnel reports, we actually see real units times a real baseline price versus a field rep saying, I think I'm going to sell 2 robots at a price point of Y based on an estimate. So we actually can see the buildup of those calculations through the system. So fundamentally, we're a better business based on the tools that we've employed in our system. And I think by being a better business, we have better reps and a quality individual infrastructure that allows us to go out and actually make our customers better in terms of the things that they're trying to do through their work trying to perfect medication management. So overall, I think our use of Salesforce and our AppExchange partner, Aptus, really has made great strides in our business. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We've got great stories of customers and really increasing their effectiveness and their efficiency through things that you can buy off the AppExchange. We have time for questions, so I'm going to walk around the room. If you have a question, raise your hand. I will hand up. Perfect.
How has your experience with Marketo been?
Well, Marketo, I can tell you that it's been a good experience. We had, our business is based, we have a finite customer base, so we know our customers pretty well. So we had to do some modifications to make it work a little better for our business. But once we did those, we have had, a good experience with Marketo.
So you found it pretty easy to roll out campaigns and get the feedback and everything?
Yeah, and I will say I'm in sales operations, so I'm not the one who's actually rolling out the campaigns. That's done by our marketing teams. But it's been well accepted and adopted by our marketing teams. And all of that information is being fed through to our Salesforce screens so that our AMs see the tasks that are coming through and are able to follow up on them. So yes, I would say that has, I have heard of no issues from marketing on rolling out campaigns.
Excellent. Other questions? Other questions? I know there's always questions. Don't be shy. Raise your hand. Anybody have a question? Going once. Going twice. Sold. Thank you so much for attending our session today, Apps to Make Your Sales Soar. Enjoy the rest of Dreamforce, and please give our 2 speakers a round of applause.